Hello everyone, it's Karen from Refresh Holidays and I'm interviewing Chippy Brand, who is the founder of Grace Hotels, and he's also the author of Branded by Grace.
So that is really the story. The story I want to tell you, my wife and I became Christians when I was about 28 and she was about 24. We were married, we had 2 children, and I was a civil engineer and I worked hard and every day with quite a rough bunch. I enjoyed every minute of it. My God was money. My God was wealth. I could see you could never be happy without money. And so I made it my business to make as much money as quickly as possible. And I was pretty successful at it. When I was we lived our lives where after we were converted, we had that one-off done deal and we were converted, we were born again. And we continued to go to church twice a Sunday. We would pray sometimes. Sometimes we'd read our Bible, not often. But really speaking, we were one day a week Christians. The other 6, our lives continued exactly the same as they had before, until God intervened. And one day I was sitting in a board meeting. It was quite a big company that I was in at that stage, and I was sitting there with a very young director. I was about 32. And so this was about 4 or 5 years after I was converted. And the directors were talking, and one person gave a report on his section of the company. And he said, well, we've been very fortunate in that we have got a chance where we can do collusion. Now, you've heard about collusion because of what's happened recently. Well, that's exactly what they did all those years ago, 50 odd years ago. That was then. I was a young guy and I didn't know what they meant. And I asked them and they told me, well, we get together a couple of contracts and we decide who's going to get the job and we all add some money on and then we share the money we added on. So I said, isn't that fraud? And they said, yeah, I suppose it is, but you don't get caught. And so I came home and I told my wife this, and I said, you know what disturbs me? We said we're Christians. And how can I go along with this? And she said, you can't. I said, what can I do? She said, you must resign. Resign tomorrow. And I said to her, Cynthia, do you know that all my wealth is tied up in that company? And they're not going to be happy when I resign. It's going to be a difficult thing. You're going to lose your motor car. You're going to lose your lovely house. You're going to lose a lot of things. We don't know what you're going to lose. It's not going to be easy. She said, doesn't matter. We have to be true to what we said. I went the next day, handed in my resignation, and all hell broke loose. And they made it so difficult for me. They put the police on me. They said that I'd been stealing, every kind of thing like that. And it was a horrific time. We did lose our house. We did lose our motor cars. We did lose everything we had, our worldly goods. They paid me out eventually some money, not much, but I had to sign a restraint of trade, meaning I wasn't allowed to work for 3 years in that business or that kind of business. I signed it because I thought it must be God's will. He's taking me somewhere else. Anyway, I went back, I'd done the deal, and that's what happened. So eventually I did get some money. I went to a little farm and we lived in a caravan. And we lived there for 6 years. And suddenly I was brought back to nothing. And I had to work every day. And every day I had to pray for my daily needs. And obviously doing that because I was farming. Now, you know, farmers wear out carpets and knees. They do, the nature of the business. God never ever let us go hungry. He never ever let us in any way live a destitute life or anything like that. But it wasn't easy. And we learned to pray. And one of the things we did, we started learning, and because of this, that we brought God into all our work. Because we had to. And he even found me a job in a local municipality where I was allowed to work as an engineer. So I had 2 jobs. One was farming, one was that one. And I managed to scrape through. for those 6 years. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to Cynthia and I. Look, people have often said it must have been terrible. No, it was wonderful. We found a good church that taught the Bible. We learned what the Bible said. We started reading our Bibles. It was wonderful. You know, there's a wonderful thing it says in man's when he suffers, or when he is in his extremity, is the word I was trying to find. That is God's opportunity. He doesn't work when things are good. He doesn't even tell us. He tells us when we're suffering and when we're having difficulties, and when we turn to Him and we rely on Him. That's how He does it. So in that way, you go through your Christian life and you go through experience after experience, bringing you more and more, so that the time, all your work is brought more and more into, can I call it, a spiritual side. And your home life, your married life, your everything, it doesn't matter how mundane, starts becoming spiritual. So that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah.
It's not about works.
Yeah.
It's not to say we mustn't do that. But it's not about that. It's about His glory.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much and for spending time with me, and thank you very much for spending time with our viewers. And may the Lord continue to bless you and use you in His kingdom.
Good, thanks.